Hello again, Colleen O'Brien here, and I wanted to offer you an update about my neighbor and the neighbor whose cooking triggered me about a month ago. So I'm recording this on November 6th, and the update actually happened on Monday, November 2nd, which when I looked at the old video, I had uploaded that on October 1st, and I think I had said it happened the night before. So it's nearly exactly a month since I got triggered and did some of that work. I've also, of course, done some other work. In fact, the weekend, October 31st and November 1st, I had retaken a theta healing class as well. I retook the manifesting in abundance class. So, that was just 2 days of healing for myself as well. So it's possible that some more stuff had, just come unraveled. Some energy was just expanded because some limiting beliefs that I had that were affecting it affecting the my experience were changed and transformed as a result of that. But in order, I can't necessarily trace an exact thing and say, oh yeah, this is, I did this and then immediately, my neighbor issues were completely gone. But I did want to share an update because it just works. So on Monday, I came home in the afternoon, and as I was driving down the street, approaching the apartment complex, I see coming out of the driveway a fire truck, the fire marshal, and a police car. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Right now, the building was still standing. Didn't look like anybody was panicking. They were just slowly leaving. And as I'm walking up the stairs to the front door of the building, there is that neighbor sitting in his window, and he said hello, and I go, well, what happened? Because I was super curious, and he says, kind of in this like shocked sort of way, well, I was cooking, and I guess somebody saw smoke, and so they called the fire department, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, I really kind of had to contain my joy. Like finally, and it didn't have to be me. I didn't have to be the one to call, because I recall too that it's been over a year that I've been saying stuff to my landlord about this. Initially, it was that I had a concern that something was burning or that our homes were going to be at risk, and I thought, was it just somebody's not cleaning their oven? Does somebody not have a sense of smell? Because a couple of years ago, something like that did happen. There was a gas leak, and the person whose apartment it was coming from just was not aware that that's where, didn't smell it, right? Not everybody has a great sense of smell, and this particular neighbor was ill, so they didn't realize it, and that's dangerous. So it was something that I thought initially had started to appeal like to my landlords. Hey, like this is a problem. Could you send out a notice, make sure everybody knows. You know, just cook. Be aware of your cooking. Make sure that you're not creating any hazards that could cause a fire. And they never really followed up on that. And it's honestly, it's not really their obligation to do so. But when he had said that oh, somebody called the fire department, I was like, gosh, that's something I have thought about doing for a while, but I was never able to really quote unquote catch him in the act, right? Often I would notice the smell lurking into my apartment after the cooking had been completed, but it was just kind of wafting up it through the air and into my space. But once or twice I did actually notice the smoke coming from his apartment windows, but it was always because I was in and out of the building and running errands and stuff. So, it just wasn't worth my time to be, calling anybody. I was like, oh, that's what that is. It sucks, but I'm not really here too much to really, have it be too much of a bother. So I was really, really grateful. I don't know which neighbor called. I don't even know if it was somebody in this building. It might have been another building. It might have been somebody passing by who saw the smoke. I don't know. But it was absolutely brilliant because finally, this neighbor got the message. He had said, he's like, oh, I feel bad that, I pulled the authorities away from whatever else they were doing. Thought that was a weird thing to go to rather than, oh, I feel bad that my neighbors thought that their home was at risk of burning down. But, that's me being judgmental and I'll own that. So, it gave me an opportunity too to tell him that, you know what, like when you cook, I can smell it in my apartment and I'm on a different floor on a different side of the building and I keep all of my windows closed. And he that was news to him. He was shocked. He was like, "Oh, really? I had no idea." And I didn't tell him, but I mean, I've talked to other neighbors just even on this floor. Um, we're all affected by it. So I did find out because I asked him what he was cooking. It's not it's a stovetop sort of thing, but he's using a cast iron skillet and he's getting it really hot, and then he's putting meat on it. And I can't believe I said this out loud. I was like, oh yes, the meat. Sometimes that makes me wish I was a vegetarian because of the smell. It's just so, we don't live in a steakhouse. And honestly, there's just not enough ventilation to be doing that sort of cooking in this particular building in this sort of environment, right? So, he did say, he's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to figure something else out. Um, so I hope he does. So that was 4 days ago. And I haven't smelled anything from his apartment that's like that at all since. Not sure what necessarily specifically I was able to change in me to allow that opportunity to manifest, but I am happy with that result, and I'm happy that it was seemingly so quick. Like I said, it's almost exactly an entire month. The other thing I remembered too was in late September when this did happen, and I really kind of freaked out about it. It prompted me to apply for a mail-in ballot for the election that we just had this week, and of course that we're still waiting for results for because so many people did mail-in ballots. It's just taking longer to count all of them. The volume is just so unprecedented, as they say. But everything in 2020 this year has been unprecedented, right? But it was initially my intention to vote in person, and I thought in late September, because the next thing that the triggery, stinky stuff actually allowed me to do was let me get out of this apartment, get out of this environment, let me move. And if I am lucky enough to move very quickly, I don't want my address change to mess up my ability to vote in this election. So that's why that was the thing that prompted me to apply for a mail-in ballot. And it worked out. It worked out really well. And given the experience that other people that I had talked to, in terms of when they had to stand in line, it was the right choice for me for this year. I did vote in person in the primary, and there were some. Again, my state had actually pushed the primary back because of the concerns about the pandemic, and then they had actually consolidated the polling place. And I actually had a really great experience at that different new polling place. But for the general election, they were going to move. I found out later after I had already submitted my mail-in ballot that they were moving it back to my original polling place, which is fine. It's just having had the other experience, I was like, I kind of liked the other place better. um, so I'm glad that I didn't have to go and stand in line in person and still have my vote be counted. So that was just kind of another little side benefit of having a really triggery neighbor who cooks cooks up a stench and smoky, like, it's almost like he's doing smoked meat, I guess, literally. So but I thought I would give you an update because I had made the video previously about it, and now here's some definite movement, some definite something I can absolutely point to is like something certainly changed. So I'm hopeful that this issue is resolved, right? That I'm not going to have to worry about that particular neighbor's cooking. invading my space so frequently. I mean, there's still the possibility that, somebody might burn something or, cook something really fragrant, but it's, I think it's going to be unusual. It's going to be an exception rather than the norm. Whereas in the past, this guy would do it, once or twice a week. And so, I'm really, really, really pleased about it. And maybe I won't have to buy so many air fresheners anymore. I've spent a small fortune in bad air sponges, which I'm sure I did a review on bad air sponges for some other video. I'll see if I can find that too and include that link too, as well as the link from my original video. So if you haven't seen that, you can watch the original trigger about how what healing I did on myself after having been triggered with that. So, this is really more about, the practical stuff rather than speaking about what sort of belief work and theta healing stuff that I did that led to this. But now, it's been a month, and I do work on myself. I do swaps with other people so that I'm the client. And then again, I participated in that manifesting in abundance theta healing class just that previous weekend. So there were plenty of opportunities for me to be clear, to get clear and be healed and change some beliefs and change myself and change my vibration, which I'm sure, whether directly or indirectly, helped to contribute to that particular outcome. And again, the timing was perfect too. I usually don't come home at that particular time. I might have come home a little bit earlier had I not gone to the drive-through and got myself something from the Dunkin' Donuts like I did today. But because I sat in that drive-through for a little while, I was able to pull in right at the moment that the fire truck and the fire marshal and the police and observe them pulling out, so that I could see that they were there, but I didn't have to get all it was just like us passing in the night, and then I got to have a really lovely interaction with my neighbor. Like I said, he was kind of shocked. He certainly did seem to be somewhat remorseful, but and then it gave me the opportunity to tell him the thing that I had been telling my landlord for quite some time, which is, yeah, like I can smell it too. It's a real, I didn't use the word nuisance, but it is. It really, or was a nuisance. Let's use past tense. So that was why I decided to do this particular video, was to give you an update. The details on the practice groups are I'm going to leave them in the description for you. I also have classes coming up if you wanted to become certified in theta healing, or if you want to do sessions, you can go to my website about that, or just reach out if you've got some questions. Maybe you've got a really annoying neighbor who triggered you, and that's a perfect thing for us to work on if you'd like. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you are having a great rest of your day. Oh, here we go. Stop.